push up to the cabin, and we're so successful for taking that final round at the very end. But we've now loaded back onto Gili Island, a full 60-player lobby, as we're going to drop back in and see how it goes, as it looks like we've got a southwest to central north plane path. So we could see everyone go just about everywhere except for Squirrel Depot. That is on the opposite side of the map, unless you really wanted to try to make a vehicle and put some distance between yourself and the other teams. But so far, it looks like every single person dropping is heading towards the east. No one is hugging the west coast.
Come on, give me a wacky circle.
Man.
Give me something that actually requires people to go down to Squirrel Depot, because I think that would be just exciting as we see yet again this large line right along the river that runs through the center of the island. And then we have the one squad waiting it out all the way toward, of course, Training Island.
That looks like, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4 squads all dropping around Bitter Lake all at once. And a single squad taking the plane all the way the distance, Squad 8, all the way on up to Observatory with a very long late drop and a quick pivot over to the island to see if maybe they can get some late loot.
So that's Baby right now. They're going to go on to Training Island, one member, and then send the other 3 over to Observatory. They don't have to worry about anything, though, because honestly, there is no one within a couple kilometers of them. As you can see, they got about 2 squares between them and the squads at Bitter Lake. See some fights, maybe some action taking place here as I see some damage coming on through. As, yep, Baby is running, of course, their pet there. That is your other mini-human-looking being that's running around, and hey, they get themselves the best circle they probably could have gotten as we're heading north.
Yeah, all the way towards the north. We do have a couple of squads looting around Wheat Town and Safe Store, so they're going to have to put some distance if they want to make their way up north. Against Squad 15 also should be Road to Victory RTV, trying to climb up through the wind cliffs to make their way on up there.
It's a little knight. He's got a little knight helmet, Tom.
He's got a little euphonium, too. He can play an instrument as, Dave Jan, he's running into this field. I'm not sure if, he should be able to see that member of RTV there. His fate looks like they're spread out all around the place, but they don't have a lot of weapons looking at all of the items here. There's a lot of fists from these members very early on.
Yeah, no, not lucky enough to get themselves a weapon, it looks like. DSR is there now, and that's going to cause Slurpee to have to re-question himself, as John Cena should be seeing him popping on through, and there he is. Going to jump outside the window. I'm pretty sure he did see him right there. There he is. He says, okay, there we go. John Cena not being able to see other people. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's the knock and elimination to find himself his squad's first kill as they're continuing to try and pick up loot around this very dense area. And again, this was the very clumped drop that we saw coming out of the plane. A handful of players all trying to loot Wheat Town all at once. Recipe for disaster.
I see Jaja here has already taken some shots, it looks like, as Fire Rose have clashed a little bit here with Nara. Nara can be a thorn in some people's sides at times. Val can also be a very good player. Is deciding to drive off. We're here over along the bridges near the logging camps. We'll see whether or not Nara are able to find themselves some shots. It looks like Nuts here and Jada were the ones trading back and forth. Shot's going to come out here as they saw one member from Nara decide to go out toward the backside. Looks like Valdo is picking up the squad, and they're saying, all right, let's go away from this.
They're just trying to avoid the early confrontation. Again, it's only round 3 of 5, so you want to try to survive as long as possible and get many more points. Nara not doing too well in the point standings right now. They're going to have to play for a mid to late game if they want to try to get themselves a handful and climb up towards the top of the standings. But they've got a long ways to go because they've made it into the circle, but this is still a very densely populated area, and they're still taking a few tags from a handful of players here and there.
Ooh,
they actually lost
Arov. This is Arov, actually. They got knocked down by AL, so this is 2 squads that like to fight each other, it seems, as Black is able to find himself 2 knockdowns. I don't know where these shots are coming from, though, onto Arov. I've not been able to see the other nameplates.
Yeah, there were some a little bit towards the south east, I want to say.
Coming in on a bike.
Here comes Black.
Oh, this is
just cycling in, looking for one, leaps off, tries to get himself a knock. He's firing wildly. Black is doing everything he can. He manages to get a law pro down, but gets a double knock. Small Boy leaps out, but he's going 1 versus 2. Small Boy is in trouble. He ends up getting knocked as well, and this is Baby trying to get in there. Arez goes for another, and with Iron Pro, that's another Arov elimination. They are the first squad out in this Game 3.
And AL and Arov, that's the second time in a row we've had them clash right away. Unfortunately, though, for Arov, they're going to lose out here. As that was a nice shot coming out there from Skins, able to actually get the knockdown on Khaleesi as they were driving away. And Nara, I think, has just left their one spot.
Khaleesi?
That's what it looks like, Shemi.
Khaleesi, my dude.
Shush!
You ever see that critically acclaimed show or read that critically acclaimed series of books?
No.
By one George R.R. Martin?
No.
Oh, my dude.
I know I hurt you.
This is
wounded.
This is
also the Canadian pronunciation coming out in some different.
Kalizzi, yeah, like a lizard.
Yeah, we do
Right.
that.
Oh, they do get a knock on the Gnarl in there. Oh boy, I know what we're doing during the downtime in between these two games.
Oh no.
Episode 1. I'm just telling you.
Let's see here. Fury Roads are getting some shots here onto Nara's lone members as they got separated. So they were driving on through and they get knocked. So unfortunately for them, they won't even have a chance to save their other teammate.
They did lose Imu there as SK Bin trying to do what he can. Val already in the building down below. Nutzer ends up getting knocked and will be eliminated as Fury Roads, they've already lost 2 and they're continuing to fire inside of this window here. Val, he's continuing to peek, trying to look for 1. Riven meanwhile getting a knock onto Superman as Joel, there's a lot of action going on. The Fate Squad ends up eliminating Call Me completely.
All right, so Southeast Asia, we're still keeping up the tempo here in the early games. That's another 15 kills before the 6-minute mark. And we talk about these teams usually being the slow ones. Val is using the third-person view to actually know exactly. Oh, no, he actually got
He's
himself.
hiding inside of the shower. He is taking the really safe strat. He might be the only member left in his squad right now. Is the chicken nade? Oh, did he see the damage numbers there? Does he know that there's somebody in there? It looks like he must, as he's chucking nade after nade on the Molotov. Val! Is he safe? He might be safe. The shower keeping him wet.
Yeah. That one
another
isn't,
one.
though. But how is he actually not taking damage?
Still taking down. There it is. Leaps out and burns down. Nara is eliminated as Fury Road's going to be happy to loot his corpse.
So that's how powerful the Molotovs are. Again, it can go through walls like we just saw there. So Val, even though he was in the shower, fortunately that water was not able to keep him cool and he did burn up. So that's going to be Nara getting eliminated here.
You know, I'm not surprised. Gili Island doesn't seem like their utilities are kept in the best of conditions. There are a couple of houses that have weeds growing in them.
Well, that's just poor flooring. That's a bad contractor.
Well, yeah, there's also just weapons strewn everywhere in Gili Island.
My opinion here of Gili Island is it's some eccentric trillionaire. This is 20 years down the line when Amazon takes over the world.
Somebody's got to drive that vehicle, guys.
Yeah, someone does.
There you go.
Where they literally use the drone program that they use for delivery to drop in all these different loot spawns and also the cars.
Yeah, but these are houses. These are buildings. This is a completely populated island that a trillionaire just purchased.
Yes, so he pretty much bought out a small country that's probably in the middle of Southeast Asia somewhere. A very small island-based country, island nation, maybe a province of a country, and he's named it Gili Island, and now he sends...
Now he runs his death games.
Yes, but
from this island.
But the thing is, these are, I believe, cyborgs, because they do evaporate into a data clump. So
perhaps they do, yeah.
So I do believe they have a separate area where
could be a simulation.
They're all in VR units.
Yeah. Where this could be like Ready Player One sort of thing, where the Gili Island isn't actually real.
I'd like to believe it is.
It's
real.
all a
it's
part
just
of
robots
our
fighting
imagination.
each other.
Oh, that's less exciting.
But they like to wear watermelon hats.
Of course, because you got to style your avatar. I think it makes much more sense if it isn't real, though. That being said, I would kind of like to live there. Like, the island itself is...
It's got a nice
pretty
view.
nice, yeah. You've got the ocean all over. You've got a whole bunch of different terrains if you want to go to the forest or go down to the beach.
You know, you got the BMXs. You want to take a nice bike along the shore.
Yeah, take a bike ride, yeah. The only thing I think that would be downside about living on Gili Island is, first of all, the death games. But secondly, does the zone continue to exist when the death games aren't on, do you think?
I think they turn it off. I think it's a switch. I think it's much like everything in video games. When it comes to patches, they just got to flip a switch on.
Yeah. Leaving the entirety of your island's existence up to a single guy flipping a switch on and off for the island's death field seems a bit iffy.
You don't worry about it. You know, you're here to have a good time, Dom.
Are you, though?
You take in the scenes. You take in the history of Gili Island. It doesn't look like
the history is death and bloodshed.
Yeah, I don't actually think there's any temples left. I think they all got converted into war fortresses.
Well, sure, there's a temple. There's the research edifice, a temple to science. It's something.
It looks a little too futuristic.
We take those, yeah. I mean, it is like a pyramid.
It is kinda.
I do believe the pyramids were the original Egyptian pyramids were sort of temples to the undead. Not the undead.
There you go. Yeah,
the actual
you get a full
dead.
view of it right
Yeah,
now.
perfect.
Thank you, observers.
Yeah, they're trying to loot it out right now.
It does. Honestly, it just looks like no one actually. This doesn't look like anything else on the island. It wouldn't shock me if it was just some sort of aliens that are just like, hey, Here's a
we'll just
pyramid
leave
on
the
your
island.
Earth.
And the thing is, there are spaceships around the research edifice as well.
Like I was saying, we kind of have a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of ship that drops us on in there. So like that's why I was like, where are we right now?
I would live there, I think.
You would live there.
I would take my summers there on Gili Island.
Okay, you get one of the nice log cabins for yourself on the plateau.
Oh, no, I would build my own log cabin, I think.
Okay.
Get my own blueprint and just chop down a few trees. And if you can't, then I would import the trees myself and build my own log cabin. But the thing is, look at where is this? This is what looks like the northern side of the island.
Yeah.
There's a plane down in the middle of this field. What happened here on Gili Island?
Well, you think about it. There was an EMP. Maybe everything was flying above, and that's why we just have a bunch of random planes just done.
I gotta
That's why
wonder,
there's no electricity on the island, too. They just wiped out everything.
I feel like it's not that hard to get electricity back on the island.
Well,
after the EMP has gone.
Well, did you see the thermal power plant? There's no one working there. No one's on shift.
Well,
They're all on holiday.
I'm just saying, it could be winter. They're not taking their summers there. Like, would you live on an island in the summers, and then in the winters, it turns into death games all over the island?
Getting back to our death games, we do see Dark Cross taking some shots, and
Oh,
Fate,
wow.
though, another one. I think that's twice now Fate has conned themselves a complete wipe. Guess what, Triple F, they're looking to get these members as they just jump into this building. They're able to find themselves some safety, but the vehicle just gets destroyed.
Yeah, they're forcing their way in, but the Just team, they've got all 4 members inside. NRV trying to break them down. They get another one. Mr. Lonely gets himself a knock onto Delusion, but NRV are still firing aggressive, and Lancer doing everything they can as they trade back and forth. But Delusion has been knocked, and he is at very low health, about to bleed out. That is not a dab in the corner. He's charging a grenade, chucks it out. Aggressive, gets down as he runs over, and Delusion gets killed by said grenade. Oh boy, you hate to see that happen. And suddenly, WOE are getting in on the action too. Or no, sorry, that's the FF squad.
Coming on over, trying to avenge some of their fallen comrades. A little late to the party, though, as WBS is now on fire at this point. Akame's trying to do what he can. Actually is taken on down there by Nepter. Nepter's going to get traded on back there by Lancer. FBS has nowhere to run.
It's total chaos on the north side of this island right now. How many squads are meeting up all around each other and taking up these kills? Yeah, 36 players left, 12 minutes in. We're not even halfway through, but we've nearly only got half the players left in this round.
What's going on here, Southeast Asia? This is utter chaos. I know the circle, we're heading very north. Like, we could finish on the training island. It's rare, but it is a possibility. And then we can become not the Hunger Games, or the swimming games, because everyone has to swim across. Some more shots coming out onto our Map 2 champions, which was Gao. They have all 4 members still available to themselves, so they're still feeling pretty good. Denzi's going to get himself into another vehicle, and they're likely just going to go ahead and ride off onto the shore.
It looks like they're just trying to play a survival strategy. They got a massive amount of points in that game 2, and now they're just looking to pad the stats with game 3. As Fury Roads, they see the package here.
Show me the grenade
That's
launcher.
The big loot.
That's a Thompson, I believe.
Managed to find himself a Thompson, yeah. Big old sniper rifle is ready for A-Res if he wants to try and take some pot shots against Fury Roads as he's just dropping ammo for the squad.
He's like, guys,
team player.
I don't need this assault rifle ammo. I have a big sniper, and it does a lot of damage.
Very big sniper. He just needs to be able to hit them.
It makes a big boom, and it does a lot of damage.
He's scouting around right now. I'm not sure if he knows that Fury Roads is there because they're still hugging the low terrain down here in this canal. But it's not quite paying off just yet as there's another squad on the way, and they took themselves further in.
Show me the training island circle. Come on, RNG. I believe in the RNG.
Whoa. It's still partially there. It could be even better. It could end in the bay.
It could be a possibility here. We'll see whether or not we go south a little bit more. It looks like the circle is going to try and keep a couple buildings toward the south end still within it for the next little bit.
Yeah.
As a lot of teams are already up here. This is actually a really fast game for Asia.
Looks like the Squad 8 is actually making their way up onto the training island, though that is a bit risky. It's a gamble, like we said, whether or not the zone closes in on towards it. But if it does, they've already got the high ground. If it doesn't, they'll have to traverse back across the bay into open terrain to try to make their way onto into the safe zone. But still, that's a few minutes away, so still plenty of time for that as plenty of squads are grouped up down onto the southwest side of the map. And like you said, it's been a bloodthirsty early game, but now we're back down to that mid-game lull. It's time to take a siesta.
Yeah, exactly. We can take a quick nap, middle of the game. I'm not saying you guys at home should take a quick nap.
I mean, you can if you like to. It depends how quick you can nap. Is it just like a quick and then you're back? Or are we talking like a 20-minute affair?
You know, if I ever hit snooze on my phone, I usually say 15 minutes for my phone. I like to going to sleep for 5 minutes. That isn't a nap. That's closing your eyes.
Yeah.
That's closing your eyes and teleporting in time 5 minutes. That's usually how it works.
If that, hallucinating wildly is, Dark Frost, that must have been a misclick there as he fires in the building, and if there was no suppressor on that weapon, he might have just given himself away. Could have been bait, though, as they are hugging that top side of the building. Samsoy trying to get around, but the Fate squad looks like they're just going to bail off just instead, as they are taking a bit of fire as they make their way to the edge of the terrain.
Yeah, this is Dark Frost. They're all running what it looks like to be the watermelon helmets, on a couple of them at least, reminding me of a rival football team over in Canada from my city, where all the fans carve out watermelons and put it on their heads.
That seems uncomfortable.
It's refreshing. Except when it's winter and it's negative 20.
Wet.
And then, yeah, well, it's a watermelon.
Yeah.
It has water in the
Why would you put that on your head?
I don't know. It's sports fans, Dom.
All right, fair. Yeah,
everybody does some weird stuff depending on the sport. Ooh.
Fate squad, they're taking a lot of damage. John Cena in the back of the truck is just praying the damn thing doesn't explode as he watches the fire. Dave Jan hops out.
Go.
Yeah, they're going to try to take this compound at the corner of the zone and make his way up to the upper floor of the baby squad just towards his north, keeping their eye on that same building, that same garage, because that terrain is going to become very favorable as the zone starts to close in.
See Fate getting themselves bunkered down here for a little bit, like you mentioned, just on the edge of the next zone, as we are closing in toward play zone 4 here quite shortly. Some Blue making his way on over. Gao has actually gotten themselves along the edge of the map, along the shore. Seal's a little bit separated. They do have 2 vehicles for themselves, so they know where Gao is now. But they can't go for likely the strategy they were hoping for, as Gao is already down there.
And the Fate squad now make their way into the building. They're crouching to try and hide as best they can and keep themselves safe. The baby squad, they have to know the baby squad is to the north because they continue to watch, but looks like some action going on. WOE Gwen getting the knockout. Black has been dropped down. Terrorist ends up getting knocked as well, and that's actually the full squad wipe as WOE find themselves with a handful of more kills.
Yeah, it's going to be AL getting taken down here. 32 players remaining, and that's going to be a little bit of a slide. Again, falling damage. Don't worry too much about it here in ROS. You can jump off here and not take too much of your health. It's a little weird to say in a Battle Royale game, because usually falling damage can be some of the most lethal damage.
Yeah. As we all know, every 10 feet, 1d10, D&D rules. That's the way to go.
Oh, man, we got to finish our D&D campaign.
At some point. We'll get around to it.
Now you got me
thinking
about
It's on the to-do list.
Okay.
But looks like Fury Road still hanging out inside of this building. Seal Squad, they make their way in. The zone actually hugging the south side of the play area with lots of buildings on that north side, as I believe this was the same canal that the other squad was in just a little bit earlier, but it looks like they've abandoned it since then. Yeah. And Fate is going to have to reposition.
Yeah, Joel was running toward that car. I'm glad he didn't actually get in the car, because that one was very much on fire. There is a 3-wheeler here as well, but that will not offer as much protection. 18 minutes on the clock. Joel is just on the outside of the circle, trying to scout out, see if anybody's just over toward their north side. Yeah,
he knows Baby Squad was to the north just a few minutes ago. He's trying to flush them out and try to force them into the rest of Seal Squad as the zone starts to come in, but it's still 80 seconds before Baby have to move.
So we see this is WOE just getting themselves a little bit more meted up. Baby still to the north here of Fate. Circle, though, is going to be closing on in about a minute. It looks like we're going a little bit more inland. It's going to hug the south side of the current circle, so we're not going to have any training island or not have a finish in the bay, unfortunately. But still, there's a lot of options for these teams. The Seals making their way on in, trying not to draw too much attention to themselves, as no one's actually taking shots.
Sometimes that can be a bit risky if you give away your position. WOE still inside of this building. Plenty of corpses all around it as well, but like you said, Huangong, he's trying to pull attention. He's trying to spot them out, but WOE are not taking any of this bait. Meanwhile, Just Team still maneuvering in. They had a 3rd place finish in the last round. If they can get another high finish in this one, that's going to springboard them up into the standings with a healthy amount of points.
Gwen still looking out here. Looking towards Seal. Don't know if they actually saw Seal. But they did see Hongyang go on to the other side of the hill with the truck. Joel's actually getting the knock there as Baby are now isolated. 90's going to get taken on down. Joel's coming around toward the side. is able to get the one pick, and actually Baby, they're stuck in the middle of the nowhere here on the side of the hill by these shacks. There's not a whole lot of places they can go at this point.
And this is the flank that we were just talking about. Baby was on the side of the hill trying to wait for the terrain to give them their favor, but Fate, with no chill, just rushed up, happening to light themselves on fire and stealing all the vehicles, locking Baby on the side of this hill. Joel pushes up, but he's actually been knocked down, and Ruben has to get out of there. He's going to have to need some backup and turn this around. Z-Rav looking for some damage, trying to do what he can to save his team as Riven is just constantly driving around. John Cena's been knocked as well. Fate are losing some members now as they manage to get a knock onto Gaunt on the far side. Baby trying to destroy the vehicle. Riven continuing to buy time. The vehicle goes down, but Riven makes it out in time. He gets his own knock onto Downter, and Z-Rav could be the last man standing. 1 versus 1 between these squads outside of the zone. They are burning down in health.
Fate's coming down the hill, and they're going to help out this side here as Dejan was still alive at the end. But look at this.
He's healing,
It's
he's healing, he's
coming
healing.
Through. It's going to be enough. It still plays zone 4, so it does do damage, but Joel will die. You cannot stop the bleeding from play zone, even if you're getting healed. If you're bleeding out naturally, you can stop that bleed out, but circle damage will still come on through. Rule now going toe-to-toe with Seal, and God gets taken down.
Yeah, and the worst part was that he died after the squad was eliminated. No points over. The grenade is on top. Roll. Ooh, gets knocked with a firecracker. Here comes the rest of the squad. Gwen trying to come to the rescue of Roll, but Sanji, he's hovering inside of the canal, playing with the terrain as best he can, finds himself another knock before he goes down, but Gwen is there for the finish and the save.
We're going to go ahead and take down Sanji. Had a nice throw there onto Rule, but was not able to finish off the kill. Rest of this team, though, has to be careful because Seal are now making their way on over toward this side of the map. Realized, hey, WOE is behind us. We can maybe try and take down some of these members. Here comes the grenade out, trying to place this nicely, and this is the risk of the canals.
Over the top.
You get stuck here in the canals, and it's hard to escape. With the crossbow nerf, it could be a viable strategy. Fortunately for Seal, they're not landing these frag grenades, just a little too short.
Yeah, Rull is still the only man down. Mao is up on the other side. He's about to start tossing his own firecrackers. Hwang'an trying to keep safe. He knows they know where he is, so he's trying to keep them locked down, but there's only one other member of his squad elsewhere on the map. Looks like Hwang'an on his own as he tries to turn and run for the play zone.
We go back on over here toward the other top side of the map. Seal is still trying to go toe-to-toe here with WOE. This is a fight. This is the gatekeeping from Seal. We do not want to allow WOE entrance into this next play zone as they are the wall between them. Meanwhile, though, Fury Road's going to get taken down here as they go toe-to-toe with their sister team as Ducey is able to find themselves the knockdown from Fire Rose. Dark Frost are able to sneak themselves into the bottom side of the zone. Just clearing out this house, making sure no one's around, and Raptor should be safe.
It really looks like this is the only building still inside of the zone, and as it starts to narrow down more and more, that is going to become some prime real estate as Gao once again find themselves very close to the final circle. They're managing to get a knock onto Samsoy. Remember, Raptor is the only man who can save him. They are a two-man squad at this point with one grenade over the top. That could be enough. Hwang'an still keeping WOE locked down outside of the zone. But that's going to be the finish off onto Samsoy. Now Denzi's looking to push up as Gao. They are just relentless in how they are flushing this out. But finally, Hwang'an goes down. He'll be wiped, and that means a single member of the squad is still standing.
You can see those chicken grenades coming out here onto Dark Frost. Raptor is pretty much the only member of his squad left. Gao has pushed him back out of this house in what looked to be a safe location. He is now looking to be burned out here by the side of Gao as they're just laying in Molotovs left and right. Denzi likely going to make a push on in here quite shortly, using the Burning Man strat as he comes on in, likely trying to get the jump here onto Raptor. Here comes the nade, though, from Raptor. It's a little late, though. That was a long fuse time. Didn't cook the grenade, so it wasn't able to get the immediate explosion. Still see, though, lots of grenades, lots of explosions coming out, and Raptor has to move to the north. So does Gao, but unfortunately, I think for Dark Frost, their run here in Game 3 might come to an end.
Yeah, Raptor's doing everything he can to try to hold out on this house, but with Gao hovering on the bottom floor, they have got the favorable terrain, but already you can see other squads are starting to move up onto the hill. Gao are going to have to push through this and finish off Raptor before moving up. Finally, that's the elimination, but Mr. Lonely gets Denzi. He gets cleaned up on the outside of the hill, and that's Gao losing a member. the winners of the previous round going to try to battle their way up into the zone.
Look at where this next circle is. It's on a little bit of a plateau. There's a couple hills around. You have Fire Rose who've gone themselves in toward the center, but that means they are now the prime targets here from these other squads. ROE is able to go ahead and take down a member of Fury Roads. Gwen trying to get another one here onto Jada. Jada taking a lot of damage there. Loki as well. And that's 2 members taken down by Gwen with a long-range snipe coming on through. Is able to survive. Needs to go ahead and heal, though barely has any health.
Yeah, the zone's not moving in for another few seconds. Finally, it's going to start ticking down. Roll, taking shots, but ends up getting knocked down himself. He's very far from safety, and Gwen gets another one. 8 kills from Gwen that round, and he manages to get the revive in time, but he is going to have to book it into the zone before he ends up going down himself. Now, 7 is there on the far side who will be providing fire. You can see the immediate rush. Heal Roll trying to make it in. He's trying to get into the safe zone, but Gao is already there trying to take fire. They managed to get the knock before Gwen can get himself back up, and the heal is traded back over. Roll. Barely any health, but somehow still alive. Gao starting to push up, but Just Team doing as much damage as they can.
Duran going toe-to-toe here with the side of Gao as they're over toward the side. Hello gets taken on down here over as Rule's able to get revenge for Gwen. Gwen having 8 kills. That's 80 points for the team, as well as the 3 that are on here for Rule. That's going to be 11 in total as he makes his way back on over toward this next play zone.
And the zone has been so bloodthirsty in this final round, forcing all of the players into an open field. Lancer gets finished off by Rull. Another 10 points over to the WOE squad. But it looks like Just Team. Still 2 members alive. Hello, still another 2 members as Gao will actually be dropping down. Just did lose a member there, Akame.
7's outside the zone. He's starting to bleed out here. He's going to have to heal over. Akame is looking to lock him down. 7 has decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead, take this vehicle on in, see if Rule's around, but he ends up crashing into the tree. Luckily for him, Rule was not able to get the jump shot available for himself. 7 going to rotate around toward the other side, see if he can spot anybody else. Akeem has fallen down now as he's over toward with half health. 7 just looking to scout it out.
And it looks like we don't have any full squads left. It's just a handful of individual players and a handful of med strats. So whoever manages to win this between 7, Rull, and Akame will be the team that takes the victory inside of the zone, as there are a handful of med strats elsewhere on the map. But Gao, they've got another player.
That's
Lam Rong somehow still alive for so long. I could have sworn he was med stratting elsewhere as Rull gets completely flushed out. 7 starting to push up. Rull sees him coming around the corner, but they're trying to get around him at both sides. But Rull, he's still trying to go 1 versus 2. Lam Rong leaps out. Rull trying to dodge as best he can, buying time. The zone is going to start moving in, but Akame still just waiting on the far side. Rull gets knocked and eliminated. Gao with 2 players inside of the zone are feeling real good about this one again.
There is a knock. Akame is deciding not to go in toward the zone, instead trying to play for this med strat. I don't know if that's the best decision here, because honestly, Gao, they don't have a whole lot of places to run from at this point. They don't have a place really they can move to. Circle's going to start closing on in. Akame is making his way on over, but it might be a little bit too late. Goes prone, starts to heal, but Gao might be looking to go for back-to-back victories here on map 3.
Heal completed. He's hugging the terrain, but 7 must have just seen him stand up on the edge of that hill right there. The zone is still going to start moving in, and 7 trying to pull some fire. Akame, he's going to have to heal himself up as he moves behind the rock. Over and over. 7 trying to loot whatever meds he can from the corpse of Rull. We've got 2 med strats far outside of the circle. But here's Akame still buying time, doing everything he can to survive. Vehicle ends up getting destroyed as Lam Ruang now providing outside cover.
Yeah, you see here, Lam Ruang actually tried to go with the vehicle. Not too sure. Looking to draw out Akame over toward the side. Gao still have a 1v1 available toward them. If Akame was more in toward the circle, but right now he is currently just med-stratting. 7's going to see this out. If he can get behind the tree, this is good for Akame.
7
Shots
pushes
coming
up.
out. There's
Akame.
7.
He's trying to push forward, and he actually gets the elimination.
Gao! They just lost the circle.
I'm not entirely sure how Lam Ruang ended up going down, but his fall allowed Akame to heal up to full and push inside. He's going to take the win as the final 2 members end up dropping down. Thuck and Dave Jan both end up dying, and somehow Akame takes it, and Gao go from having the most players at the very end to 4th place.
I don't know how Akame pulled that off. That was Gao's circle to win. We saw that last game where they almost threw it away at the last moment. Well, this time we actually did see them. I'm not sure why Lam Ruang decided to say, hey, let's get in the vehicle and drive outside the circle. It was a little bit unneeded. They could have positioned that car as another set of cover for themselves. Instead, though, They threw it out the window. Gotta go ahead and give a quick shout out though to WOE sitting at 15 kills to end off the session here in round 3. What?
I mean, we're just seeing some massive numbers all across the board, right?
I just woke up in my underwear, no liquor left on the shelf. I should probably introduce myself. You should have seen what I wore. I had a cane and a party hat. I was the king of this hologram where there's no such thing as getting out of hand. Memories tend to just pop up. Drunk pre-meds and some rubber gloves. 5,000 people with designer drugs. Don't think I'll ever get enough. Cocaine, gasoline, and most things in between. I roam the city in a shopping cart, a pack of camels and a smoke alarm. This night is heating up. Raise hell and turn it up. Say if you go on, you might pass out in a dream pipe. Oh yeah, so threaten me with a good time. It's a hell of a feeling there. It's a hell of a feeling there. Alright, alright. It's a hell of a feeling there. It's a hell of a feeling there. What are these footprints? They don't look very human.